I'm sure many are aware of the recent unveiling of the first portrait of King Charles since he has become king back in 2022. And I believe this timing of this unveiling of this portrait, all in red, like it's blood or being in hell, and you see the butterfly symbolism, which I'll get into. A huge aspect about symbolism, which I've covered. They're all about signs, symbols, dates, numbers, and colors. And definitely, like I said, the highlighting of the butterfly itself. But before continuing on regarding symbolism, let's take a look here at the individual that created this portrait. His name is Jonathan Yo, as you see here with King Charles. Again, very satanic looking imagery of the painting itself, this portrait. Again, the individual here is not just pulled out of thin air, just some random person. They're all connected. And here you see Jonathan Yo. I find it interesting with his full name, Jonathan Yo, in Pythagorean numerology being the number 47. And as I covered in previous videos, the number 47 is very important when it comes to Freemasonry. As you see here, the square and the compass is at the angle of 47 degrees. And as we continue on with the video presentation, the apex of the square and the compass, it's a little type here. It says pole star, and pole star, which I've highlighted as Polaris or Lucifer, and pole star itself in Chaldean numerology just so happens to be 33. And when you get back to the square and the compass in the G itself, with the G in the alphabet A through Z, of course, 1 through 26 when it comes to the number system. When you flip over the alphabet, you land on G again, it is 33. So what you have here is pole star being 33, the G being 33 for your dual 33s, as I show many times with the Grand Sovereign Commander. With the dual 33s in plain sight, that gets back to Jonathan Yo, as you see here. Now, again, the connection. He's not just some random artist that they pull out of thin air. His dad, Tim Yo, as you see here, as part of the CC Change Select Committee, a British politician, a member of British Parliament. And just take a look at Tim Yo's name in numerology. Pythagorean numerology, to be exact, the number 33. So, again, not just some random individual that you have here painting the portrait for King Charles. It's very important to establish that all these people are connected. It's not by random. This is ritualistic. And that gets back to the butterfly symbolism with King Charles. Huge aspect that many are not talking about is the butterfly itself and the symbolism. It's all about transformation. And take a look here, obviously, with the butterfly from caterpillar to cocoon to the butterfly itself. And this all has to do with the transformation of time or the transformation of an individual into the Antichrist. Take a look here of the former Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, and the flag of Wales itself. What do you have here? A dragon. I'll get more of that in a bit. The importance of the dragon symbolism in the connection with the former Prince Charles, now King Charles, and the butterfly symbolism, as I shown previously in a presentation, this one individual with the butterfly covering of the right eye. This all has to do with the Antichrist. From the Bible verse Zechariah 11:17, and his right eye will be blind. Just like all these other puppets in the world stage, as they're instructed to do so, covering the right eye. This is paying homage to the coming Antichrist. And the butterfly, besides representing transformation, it all has to do with MK Ultra mind control. And that's what happens to a lot of these celebrities that are under MK Ultra mind control, so they don't deviate from their handlers and the entire agenda that's being pushed, again, with the New World Order and the coming Antichrist. And getting back to the portrait of King Charles, as you see here, the whole entire concept of the mirror reflection, as I've covered in the past, I'll get into in a little bit. But first off, let's take a look here at the portrait of King Charles in the mirror reflection. Okay, we're going to get into that a little bit. Let's go back in time here. Look at Queen Elizabeth. Again, the Masons, they love the duality, the mirror reflection. You're going to find things with the mirror reflection. But first off, going back about a decade, I made a video on the pyramids in Egypt. And I showed this one specific image of the over-the-top view of the pyramids themselves. And I mirrored it. Take a look at what you see here with the mirror reflection. It looks like the wings of an angel. And you're going to see more here. Take a look. As it appears to be a face here, you see another little pyramid right here. Get a little bit of a close-up. Just take a look at what you see here. Really unbelievable stuff. And more of a close-up. You see the pyramid. It looks like a face. And more imagery to see here. Take a look. And between the two pyramids with the mirror reflection, you see the all-seeing eye. Really unbelievable stuff when you look at things with the mirror reflection. And that gets into the details with King Charles with the mirror reflection. Take a little bit of a close-up. And definitely the same thing. You see what appears to be a skull. And this is an inverted, upside-down imagery. Take a look here. Really unbelievable stuff. You see an individual here with like devil horns. Baphomet. And that gets into Baphomet himself. Let's take another look here at more imagery. Look at this. Looks like two eyes. Almost like a skull face here. Pretty creepy stuff. And just take a look at Baphomet here. Okay, this is another connection I want to make when it comes to Donald Trump. Make no mistake about it. He is one of them. He's a Satanist himself, showing his allegiance, throwing up the 666 hand sign. And as we all know, nobody makes it big in this world unless you sell out. And definitely Donald Trump's a sellout. And as we all know, Donald Trump is the face of Space Force. And just take a look at what society sees. They just see the Space Force logo with the space shuttle looking spacecraft, the star itself. And here's the thing, when you flip it upside down, Satanists love to do that. What do you have here? What looks like a goat's face, like Baphomet. You have the two horns and the upside down star. And this is all biblical. How the Satanists love to turn things upside down, like it states here from Isaiah 29:16. You have turned things upside down as if the potter were regarded as the clay. And the exact reason I always focus on symbolism, as I show many times with Manly P. Hall's famous quote, a very famous Freemason, when the human race learns to read the language of symbolism, a great veil will fall from the eyes of men. This is something I covered in the past. I want to go into a little bit more detail about the bloodline, the ruling elite, and everybody that you see here in this one collage. All these individuals, of course, they're part of that bloodline. One individual you see here, Vlad the Impaler, aka Dracula, that's the topic. And just take a look here when it comes to Vlad the Impaler himself, the Order of the Dragon. Vlad, or Dracula, was born in 1431 in Transylvania into a noble family. His father was called Draco, meaning dragon or devil in Romanian, because he belonged to the Order of the Dragon. Dracula means son of Draco in Romanian. Therefore, young Vlad was son of the dragon or son of the devil. And that gets into this Bible verse. Of course, Revelation 12:9. And the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world. So it's not hard to see what's happening specifically on the world stage with all these individuals. And of course, the dragon and the Order of the Dragon. Again, the bloodline. And as I've stated many times in the past, they always give us the truth in plain sight. Nothing's hidden in this world. Take a listen to Prince Charles from about a decade ago during this interview in Romania talking about Vlad the Impaler, Dracula.
And His Royal Highness Prince Charles, who can trace his ancestry back to Romania's dark and distant past.
The genealogy shows that I'm descended from Vlad the Impaler, you see. So I do have a bit of a stake in the country.
Prince Charles actually owns a house in Transylvania, and he appears in a video used by Romanian authorities to promote the country. The Prince of Wales is certainly not ashamed of his heritage and Romanian roots. He states, "Transylvania has so much to teach us. It's the last corner of Europe where we see true sustainability."
And taking a look at Vlad the Impaler, aka Dracula himself, and a huge aspect right in plain sight is that star symbolism. And of course, in the biblical reference, Revelation 12:3-9, where it mentions a third or 33% of the fallen angel bloodline, basically the stars thrown to earth, Lucifer and his angels. So again, this is a huge aspect that started in plain sight. And we know, of course, of Prince Charles. Just look at the two. With Vlad the Impaler and Prince Charles, you can clearly see how they're related. Just take a look at the nose itself. But definitely, this is the bloodline. It's all in plain sight. Look at all these images side by side. And you could definitely see that these two are in the bloodline, no doubt whatsoever. And now getting back to the star itself, of course, like I said, the third or 33% thrown from heaven. And this is why that star symbolism is so huge. Just like you see here with Queen Elizabeth, Queen 33. As you can see here, Queen Elizabeth, and make no mistake about it, this is by design to get that 33 with Chaldean. And a very important aspect about Chaldean, Elizabeth, again, being 33 numerology, and the third or 33% of the fallen stars or angels. Of course, stars and angels are interchangeable. And that gets back to numerology and the Chaldean numerology, of course, which relates, of course, to Babylon and Chaldea itself. And the first astronomers, of course, the Chaldeans, with Chaldean astronomy. And, of course, astro means star. The Chaldeans were famous for their knowledge of astronomy. So the connection is very clear and very easy to make, with Elizabeth once again being 33 regarding the third or 33% of the fallen angels or stars. And like I show, the Chaldeans. So everything's connected here, 100%. And obviously, getting back to the square and compass with Queen Elizabeth and her aide, as I showed in my video with Polaris is Lucifer, you have the square and the compass. At the apex of the square and compass is the pole star. They put their signs and symbols in plain sight as always, and they're highlighting Polaris, the North Star, in plain sight. So we see prevalent in society the star symbolism in plain sight over Washington, D.C., as you see here, the upside down pentagram. And of course, in Hollywood, all about magic. And the stars represent, obviously, on the Walk of Fame, on the ground itself, represents the stars that fell from heaven. So the connection is very easy to make when it comes to astrology, the stars, witchcraft, and Satanism. It's all intertwined. So it's very important to understand, basically, the Watchers from this 1983 TV series called V for Visitors. And these are not distant suns. These are spirits in the sky. Makes no mistake about it. And again, the star symbolism in plain sight with the Astro Dome. And of course, the Star Dome when it comes to the word astro. They put the truth in plain sight. And of course, here's Polaris itself. Here's the inside of the Astrodome, or again, Star Dome. And you have the rainbow seats below the dome. And that gets into the Winter Olympics from a few years back. And just take a look at what you see here during this presentation. They are definitely not what we're told. They are, again, spirits in the sky. And that gets back to Prince Charles and his mom, of course, being Queen Elizabeth, as you see here. And obviously, like I stated, this is the bloodline. And again, like I showed earlier, with the Order of the Dragon, it's going to be crystal clear. Some stamps of Queen Elizabeth going back in the past and the dragon symbolism. Telling you basically who they are in plain sight for all to see.
John chapter 9, verse 25. Whereas once I was blind, now I can see, now I can see, now I can see.